Western scientists, fixated on the material forms of nature, have spent countless time and energy tracing the evolution of forms, classifying families of plants and animals, and the relationships between different species within those families. In this attempt to understand and classify the forms, however, they have not focused on the inner significance of these changes, and thus are left with the idea of random mutation and survival of the fittest as the explanations. They even go so far as to imply that it is the changes in the forms that bring about evolutionary leaps in mental capacity and development. In their mind, form causes function. When we examine human activity, however, we see that when human beings create forms, they do so to carry out an intended use or function. In this case, the conscious intelligence chooses the form and creates what it needs to do the job. The potter at the wheel creates the bowl. The clay does not create the bowl. The internal structure of matter and life makes it abundantly clear that there is an organized and highly conscious intelligence at work in the universal creation. And thus, Sri Aurobindo looks at the intention of this intelligence as the determining cause of the forms and their modifications. It is the need for mental development that brings about the changes in the primate family to eventually bring forth Homo sapiens. He distinguishes between the pressure of the higher consciousness and the mechanism that nature utilizes to carry out the intention of this consciousness. Evolution is clearly not completed. Man is, as Sri Aurobindo notes, a transitional being. The mental consciousness we utilize in our daily lives is clearly an advance over the rudimentary mental capacities of the animal kingdom, but also clearly not perfect, unlimited, or able to understand the complexity of the systems within which it is asked to operate. We can trace the manifestation of consciousness from matter to life and from life to mind in an ever-developing series of hierarchy of consciousness. It is simply a matter of extrapolation to understand that further steps in the evolutionary development await us in the future. Sri Aurobindo writes, quote, "The essential purpose and sign of the growing evolution here is the emergence of consciousness in an apparently inconscient universe, the growth of consciousness, and with it, growth of the light and power of the being. The development of the form and its functioning, or its fitness to survive, although indispensable, is not the whole meaning or the central motive. The greater and greater awakening of consciousness and its climb to a higher and higher level, and a wider extent of its vision and action, is the condition of our progress towards that supreme and total perfection, which is the aim of our existence. It is the condition also of the total perfection of the body. There are higher levels of mind than any we now conceive, and to these we must one day reach and rise beyond them to the heights of a spiritual existence. As we rise, we have to open to them our lower members and fill these with those superior and supreme dynamisms of light and power. The body we have to make a more and even entirely conscious frame and instrument, a conscious sign and seal and power of the spirit." End quote. Reference, Sri Aurobindo, The Mind of Light, The Perfection of the Body, page 38.